And I study very hard, and I'm learning a lot about the Bible at my Christian school. And today we read the story of a very wise man. His name was Solomon, and he was a king. And Solomon had 100 wives, but he had 900 porcupines. I don't think he was actually all that smart. Did you ever see the porcupine? Well, my dad said, if he was so smart, he would be on Jeopardy anyway. And besides that, my father said if he was that smart, he would have had 700 mother-in-laws. I like school a lot. Don't you wish you had peace? Let's see, well, I can tell you about my school. In my school, there's a lunchroom at our school, and in the lunchroom there's a big pile of apples, which I really like a lot. But I don't know if you know this or not, but apples are God's favorite food, because he told Adam and Eve, who were the people who live in the garden God made, that they could have fruit, all the fruit that they wanted, but they could not have apples from his tree. Didn't know that story. Well, that's the truth. And anyway, last week, my teacher, Mrs. Garcia, was telling us that we have a big pile of apples, but everyone must be honest and only take one apple because God was watching. Well, I told my friend Cheryl that there's also a pile of cookies, and we can take as many cookies as we want because God's busy watching the apples. Who knew that was a sin? Well, let me think. There are lots of interesting cases and people and stuff in the Bible. And ever heard of unleavened bread? It's in the Bible, and it is bread that is made with no ingredients. That's true. And also, God made the earth, and he made the law of gravity to keep the people on the earth. That's true, to hold them on the planet. But I'm not sure what they did before the law was passed. I've heard seen the people in space. I think it was something like that. So, let's see. I heard the story of a man whose name was Lot. And he lived in a town with really bad people in this town. And so God said, I had enough with all the people. And so he told him to take his wife and flee out of the city. But Lot's wife was not obedient, and she looked back. And God turned her into a salt lick. But I'm not sure what he did with the fleas. Well, one of my most favorite stories today is about a man who built a boat. And the boat, it was called an ark. That's a very, very large boat because God was going to cover the whole earth, the whole planet, with water. That's what happened. And he said, you must take all the animals in the world into a really big boat called the ark. And they went inside the boat, and then God closed the doors. That's what happened. And I think they had lights on the boat because they were called floodlights. Yeah. And it must have been very difficult for the 8 people to live in the boat because they had 8 people and 1 bathroom. Yeah. And I also learned that there are people who study the ark. They're called archaeologists. And also, I just learned from my mom and dad that they had singers in the Bible too. Their names were Peter and Paul and Mary. That's right. Singers in the Bible. I just love them. Look on fairies. There's so many interesting things. Look, I bet it has glasses, and you could see the fairies if you look. I'm not fairy. I don't think these glasses work. I will tell you another story. There was another famous man, and he was also a king, I think, and his name was Moses, but at least I know he grew up with kings, but in a faraway place whose name was Egypt. And Moses also was a very bad man, I think, because the Bible says he broke all the commandments at the same time. But what God mad at him and made him and his people have to go in the desert for 40 years. That's a very long time. I think it probably made him go nuts, because I know my dad goes 40 minutes in the car with us, and it drives him nuts. Are we there yet? Well, let's see. Moses and his people were called the Israelites, and they fought a lot of people. And those people had really funny names. I'm telling you, funny names. They were called Moabites, Amalekites, and the Gettites. I think the Gettites were ballerinas, that's what I think. And then there were Gardafites, and there were Parasites, and Cellulites. I have lots of grandmas, and I have grandpas too. And one of my grandpas likes to read me stories. Will you sit still, please? Just let's not backwards. It must be very uncomfortable. Ladies, my brother said, always cross your ankles when you're in public. Don't what you do about the itches, though. Okay, where was I? And let's see. I could tell you some interesting things that you may not know about the Bible. Like, did you know they had eyeglasses? Evidently not. Well, they did, because God said, and I read it, I will make you a spectacle. And also, the first suitcase is mentioned in the Bible. That's true. It's called Samsonite. Okay, so my grandpa Jim likes to read me stories, and when he comes to visit, he'll always bring special books, little kitty books for us. And once when I was sitting on his lap, much like Elizabeth does, except his ears aren't as long, I felt his face, and it was really wrinkled. And he said it was because God made him a long time ago. But if you feel my old cheek, it's very smooth. I think God's getting better at it. I love my family. We seem to be growing all the time. And my mama told us that we're expecting a new baby. And Corinna was telling everybody at school, the preschool, that we're going to have a new baby in our house. So Mama asked her if she want to feel a baby kick inside her tummy, and she said yes. And she put her hand on her tummy to feel the baby's little feet kicking. But then she didn't talk about a new baby coming to our house anymore. And finally, our teacher said, how come you don't talk about your new baby coming to the house anymore? And Corinna said, because my mommy swallowed it. I think she was fixed up. But she did ask my mommy how to tell the difference between a baby girl and a baby boy. And my brother Kim said, I know, because the baby boy has blue booties and the baby girl has pink. I don't know what we're supposed to do if we doesn't have booties on. That could be a problem. But my brother Jack said, if my mom has a baby girl, she's going to name her Susan. But he said if she has a baby boy again, she's going to call it quits. I think that's a very funny name. Yeah. Somebody told our neighbor lady that she couldn't have children after 35. I think that's way too many children. And then, Brother Jack's friend went camping. His mom had a baby when I went camping. It's an extraordinary thing. And they were very lucky because there was a doctor in the camp. And the doctor came over and he made his daddy hold up the lantern so she could see. And her mom had a baby boy. But then she had a baby girl. And then she had another baby boy. I told him they should have put the lantern down because I think the light was attracting them. Yeah. Well, after Corella was born, my mama saw her daddy standing by the crib, and my mama thought it was so sweet that she almost cried. Until Daddy said he thought it was amazing that you could buy that nice a crib for $39.95.
At Joseph's Storehouse.
At Joseph's Storehouse. That's right. That's where he got it. Well, let's see. We have a very large family Bible. I don't know if you have family Bibles, but we have one, and it has a very funny tree, and it has the names of all our old relatives in the family Bible. And once when Brother Jack opened it up, a leaf fell out. And I'm not certain, but I think it was Eve's underwear. I heard about that in the Bible, too. Well, I'm so excited because our Grandma Sharon's coming to visit. And Mama told Daddy that she was going to do tricks if his mom came to visit. Well, that's not exactly what she said. Actually, she said, if your mother comes, I'm going to climb the wall. Yeah. Daddy asked Brother Kid, what do you call a person who talks when nobody is interested? He said, Grandma Sharon. Apparently, that was said. Daddy said Grandma Mildred used to have a photographic memory. But she's been having trouble with her memory. I told him she just needs some new film. See, our Grandma Mildred, she can be kind of ornery sometimes. And Mom and Dad went out to the pasture, and that big bull had her back in the corner. And my mom said, "Hon, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?" He said, "I'm not going to do nothing. That nasty bull got himself into this predicament. He can get himself out." Yeah. You laugh. We've never met that bull. But you never met my grandma either. I love to sing, speaking of photography. Do you know what Cinderella said when her photographs didn't arrive after the ball? "Someday my prince will come." That's funny. Anyway, that's funny right there. That's funny. You know why dragons don't sleep all day? Because they fight night. That's funny too. I guess you have to be a kid. Well, I heard my brother singing his prayers last night, and he asked God for a new twin bicycle. Dad said, "Jack, you don't have to yell. God is not deaf." And he said, "No, but Grandpa is." Who knew that was a sin? Yeah. Have you ever noticed the grandparents are always asking us what we want to be when we grow up? I think it's because they're looking for ideas. You think by now they'd already know. Yeah. We're having lots of birthdays at our house lately, too. And yesterday, my daddy's friend asked my brother when his birthday was. And he said, March 3rd. He said, well, what year? And he said, every year, silly. Doesn't change it. Grandma Sarah, who's coming to live with us, eats a lot of health food. My dad says maybe she should try some with preservatives. She needs all the preservatives you can get. Look at that. It's gossamer. Don't you like that? That's a fairy dress. That's very soft. Well, it's true. Well, 2 weeks ago, Mama and Jack planted some dahlia bulbs. And Mama says there's lots of ways that you could plant seeds. You can rake the dirt, and you can put them in the ground, and you can put the dirt over the top of them. Or sometimes you can plant beans. And sometimes seeds are even planted by the wind, just like dandelion wickets. And even birds and squirrels can plant seeds. Did you know that God can plant seeds in your heart? Mama said that when she reads me Bible stories, that's what God is doing. He's planting seeds in my heart. I think mine must be roses because they're my favorite flower. And besides, my mom always tells me to bloom where I'm planted. Well, my brother likes to sing too, and he can even play the guitar. Not very well, but his dog James loves to listen to him anyway. I think that James listens to him even when he's not very good because he loves him. Yeah, just like our pastor. He listens to us, even when we're not very good just because he loves us. Did you know that the white hair, our Bible says, is a crown of wisdom? Pastor Deborah told my grandma that at her age she should give some thought to the hereafter. She said, I think about it every day. He said, well, that's very wise. She said, wisdom has nothing to do with it. Every time I go into a room, I say, what am I hereafter? And did you know she hates mirrors? I think it's because they have wrinkles. My daddy also says he hates getting older all by himself because Mama hasn't had a birthday in 6 years. She says time is an excellent healer, but as a beautician, it sucks. Our family wanted to get Grandpa hearing aids for his birthday, but he said no thank you. At my age, I've already heard it all. And he says growing old isn't for sissies. He says everybody wants to live a long time, but nobody wants to get old. I'm not sure how that works. Last time my Grandma Erin was here, Brother Kim told her that he would make her a cup of tea. She said that would be lovely, thank you. I didn't know that you could make tea. And so he made her a cup of tea, and she said, well, Kimmy, that's a wonderful cup of tea. Just like that. He said, that's a wonderful cup of tea. And he said, yes, I couldn't find the fly swatter. I couldn't find the strainer, so I used the fly swatter. Evidently, that is also a sin. We had a really bad storm at our house. And my sister asked my mom if she would sleep in her little bed with her. And she said, no, Karina, I sleep with Daddy. She said, if Daddy's that afraid, he can sleep with the boys. And at lunch today, both of my brothers were fighting over the last apple. And the teacher said, why can't you boys just agree? And they said, We are agreed. We both want the last apple. Apparently that's a sin as well. That's hard to keep track of sometimes. We also go to church a lot, and we listen to Pastor George, and he teaches us Bible stories, and we like that. And he teaches us other good things as well. But sometimes I just can't stop the wiggling at church. And I ask him, if I give my money at the beginning, can I go home sooner? My mother said that was a sin. Well, the Bible is divided into two parts. They are called, the Old part and the New part, they are testimonies. And the New Testimony is about Jesus and about his friends. And he had 12 friends who walked with him, who was God's son, and they were called the 12 decibels. And he lived on earth a long time, and he did really hard things, like walking on water. I tried that once. It did not work very well for me. And he also did things like making the sick people well, and he made all the animals with God, and I know that he healed the leopards, and I think that's because he liked the leopards best. And one of his disciples was named after a yucky vegetable, so I think he was probably not a very nice man. His name was Judas Asparagus. Our Sunday school teacher asked who Jesus' mother was. I said it was Mary. And then our teacher asked, who was Jesus' father? Richard said his name was Verge. But confused my teacher a lot. And she asked him where he got that idea. He said, well, it's in the book of Matthew. It's always talking about the Verge and Mary. I know that's not right. His name is Joseph. A really good story is the one about Mary and Joseph, and it went far away to a land called Egypt. And I think they took the baby Jesus because they didn't have a babysitter. And we also know that they went on an airplane because the Bible said that their pilot was Pontius. Yeah. My friend Steve Kitt said the Pharisees in the Bible that Jesus taught his stories to were actually horses. I asked him why he thinks that. He said because Jesus said, whoa, to the Pharisees. And then some really bad people who didn't like him killed him with big nails. But Jesus was very kind and good, so he told God to forgive them for being hateful. And he did. Now Jesus stays in heaven with God and does all kinds of good things that God doesn't have time to do. And he sends his angels to help people here on earth. This is really good news because it means you're safe and you never have to be afraid because they're always there. And even if you make a mistake, he will forgive you if you ask him. Our pastors, George and Sue, listen and care just like Jesus does. And they're really kind. And they always come quickly when my daddy calls. And they pray before they eat. I'm not sure why, because Pastor Sue is a really good cook. And she shares with everybody, too. And sometimes Pastor George will make you feel special by giving you the last bite of his food. They work really hard, and they still have time to talk to the little children, just like me. And they teach us how to love. So I was pretty frightened when Pastor George shaved off his mustache. I think that we are very lucky to have them, and that God has been very good to us. because just like my Jesus, they love us just the way we are.